So, this is part 3 of everything that's wrong with the new Defender. And in this part, we want to talk about all the financial mistakes. So, I think the major thing when I look at this new Defender, I think, okay, so the new Defender is a new Discovery. So, what about the old Discovery? So, Land Rover just spent a bunch of money updating that old Discovery. And now it's probably not going to sell so well. Now, this is one of these problems. This vehicle was seemingly designed to cannibalize its own company. So you take a vehicle, you move the factory out of the country where the vehicles have traditionally always been built, and then you put it in direct competition with two vehicles that it builds now. So, the Range Rover Sport and the Discovery are basically the same platform. They both haul 7 people. They both tow the same amount of weight, and they both ford the same amount of water. So, all those 3 vehicles now compete against each other, and this Defender is the new hot version. So, all of a sudden, everybody's saying, "Well, it's cleaning up on sales compared to the old Defender." Well, yeah, that was a vehicle that was 65 years old. Of course, the technology was old, and people thought it was out of date, and they had kind of stopped buying it. But now you've got this new one, and it's really no different than those other two. And when you look, even the Discovery Sport is a 7-passenger, SUV. And on the bottom end, it's not that much less, or the top end of the Discovery Sport is not much less than the bottom end of this Defender. So a lot of those customers that were going to buy a high-end, profitable Discovery Sport are going to be trying to buy the low-end Defender. So I look at this stuff and I think, okay, so here's a company that just decided to eat itself. They're going to move the plant to Slovakia, and they're going to start with new staff, untrained rookies that are going to build these, and the mistakes that go along with those first year or two. So 2020 and 2021, those vehicles are going to have issues, and you can see them, in the internet now, and you can hear them talking about, oh, sales are so good that they've discontinued these motors because they've outsold them. Well, I would think if they planned to have those motors for a number of years, they wouldn't be outsold. So they wouldn't be bringing in new motors unless those motors were problematic. So it seems to me that they're kind of running into some other issues. But the big question I'm wondering is where does Land Rover go from here? So if Defender sales are up 25% and whole company sales are down 50%, what does that do for the company? So then the next part of that is everybody that's buying the new Defender is trading in a Discovery or a Range Rover Sport or maybe a Range Rover. So these Land Rover dealers are going to have just a pile of used Land Rovers on the market. So, and as the yards fill up with used product, the demand, the pricing is going to drop for those trade-ins because there's not going to be enough people. Everybody's going to, they're going to want the new Defender. So when I look at that and I think, like, why didn't they differentiate that? And let's just say they took this same product. Why didn't they bring us just the 2-door so it didn't compete with the Defender, right? Why, for at least a year or two, right? Why didn't it come on coils with a 2-inch lift, bigger wheel wells and say 35s and front and rear lockers? Something that was a little noisier and a little more compromised. Something that wouldn't compete directly with its own company and everything in its fleet. Something that would have brought in new customers that aren't out there buying their current products. Somebody that, would have competed with Jeep and this new Bronco coming. Why didn't they do that? Why did they decide to go prissy and quiet and gentle with this new vehicle and make it just a cooler version of everything that they've always built? Anyway, I look at this stuff and I kind of can't get my head around it. I don't understand. It almost seems like corporate espionage, like somebody in the company that has the ear of the man at the top or the woman at the top It's just turning it in the wrong direction on purpose. I just don't, I really don't understand it. So, and when I look at this, I think, okay, so Land Rover is a company that started at the end of the Second World War, right? The very year of the start of the births of all these baby boomers. So, and these baby boomers, they're looking for something, right? The ones that are still alive, they're looking for a vehicle that's going to last them out, and the ones that are, their children, they're looking for something too. The ones who have already passed have passed their money to somebody, and they're saying, what do I spend my money on? What am I going to buy with mom and dad's money? Something nice that they wish that they would have had. I'm going to buy it in their honor. Those people don't have a place to go with Land Rover, because every one of the products is a 5-year product. As soon as the warranty's up, you want to be rid of it. So anyway, when I look at that, and then I think, like, so you traded in that older demographic who wants a nice mechanical piece that they know they can maintain, and you traded them in for yuppie money, young people who flip vehicles and get a new rig every couple of years, and then you realize, in 2 years' time, that vehicle, that Defender, it's out of date. So I'm sorry, but the new Rivian, and I'm going to bring this up, the new Rivian, it's the same width, 79 inches wide. It's about the same length, about 200 inches long. It has more ground clearance. It has better angles. It seats the same amount of people. It's plusher, and it's going to be the new cool thing, because it's not going to use dyno juice anymore. It's all electric, so you can be clean and travel and do all these things. And I just think, when I look at this, I think this ends up being a stopgap measure. They put all this work into bringing this discovery here, and for a few people, they'll buy it here right now during the pandemic. And when we come out the other side, if there's a depression and things are shut down, and Land Rover decides to scuttle, shops in England, and all the jobs are in Europe, I sure wouldn't want to have my wife driving a Defender. I think it's going to represent a lot of things, a lot of hostility and anger towards a company that's really messed things up.